Hi, welcome. My name is Idris Kamoga and I'm happy to have you. It's a Monday. It's the 4th of November 2024. I want to remind you that the year is rolling down and this is a good time for you to brainstorm new strategies for the upcoming year. Look into your 2024 operations, evaluate yourself, re-strategize on how you want 2025 to be. Of course, we're all looking at making it a better year, right? So we want you to get more prepared for 2025. It will be very bad for you to have the same mistakes committed in the new year, right? So we want to be very hopeful that the new year brings a lot of success in your tourism business that you're doing. It's a Monday, and you all know what happens on a Monday. We always come with a tourism business tip. And today we've got a very interesting topic. You may not have thought about it, but we always think about things that are going to help you to grow your tourism business in a seamless way, right? So today we want to talk about debt management. Of course, we're looking at financial loan, right? Very quickly, we want to give you our own understanding of what a debt is. To break it down for you, we could say it's a sum of money that probably you obtain or you get, for a period of time, and you have to pay it back with interest. So this is what we want to talk about. It's an unavoidable or an inevitable situation for tourism business entrepreneurs at one moment, especially if you want to grow, right? So today we want to look at how do we minimize debts for our tourism businesses. We will also try to look at the mistakes in debt management, right? And being an inevitable situation, we will also show you if you are to secure that debt, what are some of the key things that you must not overlook, right? So let us dive in, and you must come with me to look at these key things. We've got two subjects. We've got minimizing debts today and also avoiding debts. And we are all agreeing, and you must be all agree that it is inevitable, probably for any entrepreneur, to do quite a bigger business without securing a debt. And we'll look at all those angles. But let's start with ways of minimizing the debt. We want to see, because sometimes debts would hinder our growth. And at one point, it might lead you to failure. You see? So, one of the best way to minimize debt in our research that we've done today is to ensure you have an operational budget. And you must cut expenses, right? We're looking at a situation whereby all in all, you must get a debt, but minimize. Have an operational budget, and you can get an operational budget by understanding how much would your monthly expenditure be, and you can multiply that probably annually in 12 months. And then see, if you can understand that picture, probably it will help you even when you are to get a debt, you know how much to get, and you can minimize that. Otherwise, if you don't have an operational budget, and probably you cannot cut your expenses, because sometimes what leads tourism entrepreneurs into debts is as a result of higher operational costs or higher expenses. So here we're looking at the situation. We are going to minimize our debt burden by minimizing or cutting down expenses. Also, it's very important for you to be able to track down the expenses. I know we've got poor record management. You don't be able to record in and out of all your operational expenses, your salaries, your staff meals, your electricity bill you use at office, water bills, travel, fuel, whatever case may be. You see? So it will help you try to minimize. But if you cannot track down and record all those expenses, what we call operational expenses, it will be very hard for you to be able to minimize debt. We're also looking at prioritizing your company needs over wants. That's a big one, right? And even in our personal life, we've got needs and wants. So are the businesses that we are managing. If you can prioritize, right? Otherwise, you'll always be in debts because you fail to prioritize between company needs and wants, right? Okay, I hope you understand these measures. And our fourth point here is to build an emergency fund. Of course, your emergency fund can grow over time. And this is where you can run to whenever you think of getting a debt, and you can look into the emergency fund. In one of our videos that we've done, we've tried to express how you can look at sharing your profits. If you remember, we talked about, we assumed you get $100 as your profit. And we said 50% of that, which is $50, would go back to the company to meet operational costs and expenses, right? Then we have another $50 left as 50%. So on that, we could say on every sale, we could have 10% of the remaining, or of the revenue made, to go into what we call the emergency fund. And onwards, after 5, 6 months, or even a year, when you check the emergency fund, you may have $10,000, right? And if you're looking for 20,000 US dollars, your emergency fund has got 10,000, and here you're minimizing the amount of money that you're going to get as debt. So having an emergency fund, it's one way on how you can minimize a debt. And we also look at income diversification, right? You're a tour operator. Probably you can think of diversifying. Within the same line, you can have a ticketing department. So, at one point, people are coming in to buy tickets. In other words, we are looking at more income streams that would help you minimize debt acquisitions through giving you more income, inflows into your business. So income diversifications, it's a good way whereby you can look at other income streams to your tourism business. I hope you've tried to understand these 5 points that we've discussed with you in as far as minimizing debts, right? And the other concept that we need to look at is, we all agree that yes, it's an unavoidable situation. It's inevitable, for you to be in business and you don't have a debt, or you don't acquire, especially if you want to grow big, tour operators that want to get, fleets of, talk about vehicles, you want to build your company office, all that stuff. Of course, you need more money in this case. And you're saying, no, I have to go and get alone. So we want to give you some key things that you probably, you must have at least to consider. Negotiate uh, the debt interest. You see, you're going to get a loan of about 50,000 US dollars, 100,000 US dollars. Of course, you must consider loans or debts with lower interest, right? Avoid loans with higher interest. And the other thing would be pay off in time. You see, all these loans we must pay in time. If you fail to pay in time, probably your interest rate will accumulate. And in other words, you'll fail to pay, and next time we see you, you're failed and you're completely down. Okay, cancel all unnecessary business transactions. You see, when you get a debt and you start planning, you need to go to trade fair A, and these are things that you didn't plan within the budget. You see, so you're going to start flying. They might be necessary at that time, but if they were not on the list of things to do while acquiring this debt, please do not consider, and we'll call them all unnecessary. So all unnecessary business transactions must be cancelled or called off, right? So that we can optimize this debt the best way possible. And our last point here would be learn how to save for large transactions or bigger transactions, right? We've said create what we call an emergency fund. If you think of one day you want to own a Land Cruiser, which is about $100,000 brand new, learn how to start saving for that. You see, get a small percentage of your revenue, put it aside on every business transaction or sale that you're making. And over time, when you go and check, you'll probably have gotten some bigger saving. So when you develop that culture of saving for larger purchases for your tourism business company or anything, you will be able to avoid getting into a debt trap. Remember, a debt is a double-edged sword. It can catch you using the other side, and it can catch you from this other side as well. But lastly, we want to look at debt mistakes. What mistakes do tourism business entrepreneurs do when they are getting or acquiring these, call them financial loans or etc? One, they don't seek for help, an expert help from a financial advisor. That's one of the big mistakes. So it is not good to get a loan without getting assistance from an expert, a financial expert. And two is missing payment. You don't pay today, you don't pay tomorrow, all that. So the interest will go high. And lastly, I would not prioritizing company essentials, right? So if you don't prioritize company essentials, basically you end up spending the money impulsively, and it will affect activities of your agency, and in other words, the funds secured will be wrongly applied. So I hope in our today's business tip, it's been a quite different one, because we're looking at management, and we grow with funds, and sometimes we grow with debts. So I hope you've learned something very key in today's tourism business tip. And for that, I want to thank you so much, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our social handles. Of course, these and more learning tutorial will be on your way. I thank you, and